Are we like live?
Oh, there we are right now. Okay, ladies, hello. I'm so excited to be here with you and to bring on one of my longtime clients, Carey. The reason why I asked her to come on today was to mainly just share her experience, right? One thing that I'm realizing I need to be better at is sharing what's happening on the inside. But I get so involved working with my clients that sometimes I'm not sharing that content. And some women, they don't want it shared, right? It's a really vulnerable space, fitness and nutrition and fat loss. And so a lot of clients don't want anything on social media. But I realized that, wow, people need to see the life change that's happening and what's happening on the inside. And so I asked Carey to come on to inspire you women with her story, where she started, what's been her experience, and where she's at now. Carey, I think you've been with me almost 2 years now. Is that right?
That is right. We're looking at, reaching 2 years in the summer. Yeah,
And we still got a long way to go, which is amazing. And so
absolutely.
the first thing, and Carey, go ahead and introduce yourself first.
Well, my name is Carey Donaldson, and I just turned 48, and I own my own business. I'm a mom of two, a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old. I'm going to be an empty nester soon, and have been an athlete all my life, endurance athlete all my life. Played college soccer and then was from a family of runners. After college, decided to start doing marathons. And yes, I am an Ironman. I've only done it once and it was a long time ago, but that was the type of athlete I was. And there was something that just took a dip in my mentality. And I knew that there had to be something different, especially a woman getting older. People do Ironman still till they're older. My mind didn't want to do another one. My body didn't want to do another one. And this was purely by chance that I took a huge leap of faith, one that I will never regret, and one that has absolutely changed my life. So lucky enough to be here. Yeah.
So awesome. So glad to have you. So what was your problem when you first came to me?
Oh, there were multiple. I also grew up with battling anorexia and bulimia, which we all know can be somewhat tamed, recovered, or whatever that is, but the body dysmorphia is still there. And being somebody who just felt like she had to spend so much time on cardio equipment and seeing absolutely zero results and eating next to nothing. You couple those two together, you see no results, you keep falling back down into this trap of nothing's ever going to work, and I'm going to be 50 and I am going to be sedentary and my joints are going to hurt. I was stepping into a new world of recovery. A recovery from, and it's clear in my line of my lifetime that there were addictions to body dysmorphia, not eating, food issues, all of those things. And I just came to a place where I just needed to pivot. I had to. Yeah.
And we met on Facebook,
We
right?
did.
Just like the other ladies. Yep. And you decided that it was time to take the leap, which I just love. That was really amazing. And, we'll talk a little bit about the ups and downs. Like we talked a little before the call, like, hello, are you there? Where'd you go?
Right. Yes.
But can you just share, what has been your experience throughout the program?
I can tell you where I started when it came to there's no cardio. There's no cardio in my program, and really resistant to that because that's all I was used to. And wait a minute, I'm supposed to eat this much food? I can't eat all that food. And in my brain, I can't eat all that food. How am I supposed to do that? And we were just talking about this, that at one point, Kristen just sent me a message and it was simply this: just trust me. Trust in what I know. And for this obstinate redhead, I had to just take a huge leap of faith. And I have been here for almost 2 years, and it has made me change my mind about food. It has made me change my mind about my body image. It has made me change my mind about health, and that the biggest investment that we can ever dedicate ourselves to is the investment of ourselves. And that's mind, body, and spirit. I was really lacking in all those areas when I came in, although I did not believe that. I thought I had it. I thought I had this all smart and I was just going to give it a shot with you. And I was resistant. Not for very long, though. I don't think I was resistant for very long. It was definitely a pivot for me.
Well, I think because, we're similar. I work with a lot of type A's because I am a type A. And so I'm thinking of one of my other clients in specific too. When I get the pushback, it's like I don't take it personal. It's okay because I get you. It's like, well, where is this coming from? Let's talk through it. Like, why are you feeling this way? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of what helped was educating you, like, but here's why we're doing this. Here's why I don't want you to do cardio. Here's why we should be building your body through weightlifting, getting the fat off through nutrition, and bringing health to your body. And I'll never forget, I think it was maybe a month ago, you said, sister, I just fit into a size 2. What? I was like, yeah, exactly. Almost 50 years old. We don't take weight, right? Because that's a thing. So we've never really taken weight after like week 2, way back when. And that's the thing too, ladies, is I say this too a lot is there's no one size fits all, right? We have a process, right? We track macros, we lift weights, we do check-ins. So I can see how your measurements are changing. I can see where you need help and where the program needs to change on my end. But at the same time, this program is designed to come fit around you so you can achieve your goals, lose fat, gain muscle for the rest of your life, but in a way that's realistic for you, in a way that specifically works for each woman's body. And I think that's a problem with other programs out there is it's like, do this, here's a plan, you'll get results, I'll talk to you in a week. It's like, no. Like we create relationship and it's a vulnerable space to share, to be yourself, to receive support, and to really like have someone link arms and say, hey, you're at point A, you want to get to point B. I know how to get you there. Let me work with you together on this journey. Is that how you felt? And
absolutely. And that's the beautiful thing about this is it's, and we kind of talked about this, the similarities to our businesses, me being a business owner, but what Kristen does and that I appreciate so much is that it is individualized attention because no one of us is the same.
yeah.
And I'll be really, I did not do weight and she was okay with that. Yeah. And I told her why, and she was accepting of the reason why I can't do weight because that's the mind piece for me. Mm-hmm. And she will laugh and probably roll her eyes. I don't send pictures enough. Because and I know and I'm terrible about it. But she provides a soft place to fall and understands that those are pieces in me that just sometimes I maybe can't get over. But that she's accepting of that. So we tweak it. And that's been the most beautiful thing is the ability for me to be exactly who I am while she pushes me at the same time. So that for one of the, I'll get weepy for that. I am very grateful that the fact that you accept me for who I am and things that I need in this process. Yeah.
Always, because otherwise it won't work. Right? Like it might work a little bit, it might work for a little time, but it's like, we got to find exactly what works for you. And when I was laughing about the pictures, I didn't mean to laugh in a sense of like, oh, it's bad you don't send the pictures. It's more so like, I want to see what's happening with your body and I want to show you off to the world, but more so I want to know what's happening to your body. But yeah, that's okay because we take measurements, right? And that's why I see, and you're getting so strong, and your measurements have dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped, and your body just looks incredible and you feel incredible, huh?
Yes. And that's part of the recovery process too. I know as women, especially for this woman in recovery, where I would gain a lot of my weight was in my stomach. And so when we look at the measurements of that, it is a beautiful reminder to me as well on my recovery journey that that's where I was. And that's where I don't ever want to be. And so it's a beautiful reminder every Sunday morning when I don't want to do that. And I get up and I do that it just reminds me of how far I've come, but I am willing to do the work, right? We have to be willing to be malleable and adaptable and listen to you.
And willing to be coachable because It's like if you're not coachable, then you're going to stick with what you've been doing, but what you've been doing isn't working. So let's try a new approach. And the approach is always health. And I think some women sometimes get stuck like, I've tried every diet out there. It's like, well, thank goodness you're here now, because this isn't a diet. This is really, how can I live a healthy and fit lifestyle that works for me, that works for my family, that I really can sustain for the rest of my life? Like, that's what we do in Queens Myron. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever eaten. I joke because the Trader Joe's up near me. Oftentimes I'll go there and they'll say, "Oh, what are you doing today?" And it'll be a Sunday. Well, I'm planning my meals for the week, and a couple of them have asked just a little bit about it. And I said, "Well, yeah, I count my macros," and they don't understand what that is. So when they see goat cheese, when they see, which I love, by the way, and tons of green dragon sauce, all of those staples that I have slowly along the way, those are my staples, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've never eaten food like this in my life and felt good about it because I know that it's right for me, right?
Yeah, it's right for you. And you can work in things that you like and not have to have any guilt. But it's like, oh, wait, I can be a human and still eat things and still be really healthy and hit my goals and way beyond.
And also the ability to go, yeah, I wasn't on top of it great this week at all, but I don't feel guilty about that anymore. Where in the past with that brain piece, it's like, oh, I ate, on Easter, this is what I ate. I don't feel guilty anymore
I
at
love
all.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's something that we work through too. It's like guilt takes you nowhere except backwards. Rapid self-forgiveness, rapid grace. It's over. Just move on. We can dig into it. We'll talk strategy and we'll talk tools and we'll talk like, okay, why did that happen? What was the root? But it's like, sometimes it's like, oops, I knew I wasn't supposed to, but I wanted all the Reese's cups. It's like, totally fine. New day.
Right. And just recently too, it's been those days that I've done that. And it is actually peanut butter and chocolate, to be honest with you, that I need removed out of my house. But it's when I woke up yesterday morning after doing that, because Sunday was like kind of like that, my body felt terrible.
Yeah.
I had to fight my way through my workout.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, so if you choose to do this, here's the result. So
and it makes it so much easier to do that less and less and less, because you start to feel so good with like our style of macro tracking and lifting that an off day, which maybe used to be normal in the past, is like, oh my gosh, that wasn't even worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes I hear women say, I just can't afford that. I can't pay for it. And I think part of it is, I personally think part of it is lack of self-love. They are afraid to invest in themselves because they have kids or they have a husband. And it's like, how can I possibly spend that much on myself? And, I talk to them, it's like, this is not an expense. Like, you are investing to completely transform your life, which transforms your kids' lives, sets you as a leader to teach your children healthy and sustainable living, to teach your husband. And the ROI, the return on investment, is just massive. So what can you speak on this for women who feel like it's an expense versus an investment?
I think and I can't speak to all women. I can speak to my beautiful girlfriends and some of the stuff we are all givers. We give and we give and we nurture and we take care, and we feel that is one of the biggest things that makes us feel good about ourselves. And don't get me wrong, it absolutely does. But there comes a point in time where you need to refocus and ground yourself. I got that same gut feeling when because it's something that you pay for, your knowledge and your skill. Absolutely it is. But this has changed my life. It is not, I came in to get my body back in shape. Little did I know that it would be mind, body, and spirit, which is absolutely priceless, especially different phases of our lives as women when the children start to leave. And now it's Carey, and I don't think that there's anything, you can't put a price tag on the ability to feel at peace
Yeah.
The ability to wake up in the morning, and I think I've texted you this before, and when you stretch, the first thing when you stretch in the morning and you're like, that's tight. That feels good. It's There's no better investment in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and two, I look at some of my great girlfriends who are not really into fitness and they're full of anxiety. They're exhausted. They can't keep up with their kids. They don't want to be intimate with their partner because they don't feel good about their body, so they don't want to do all the things, and so then it affects marriage. They don't want to go out with their friends because they feel so icky in their clothes. And it's like, oh my gosh, how much is it costing you from your life? How much time, how much emotional energy, how much is it really costing you versus use money instead of time and life and relationships to fast track yourself? It's so simple. But I think that a lot of people, maybe it's like fear of poverty or fear of something, but it's like, but your body is living in poverty. Your body and your health is far more important than paper. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's crazy.
It's that concept of scarcity. We're
Yes.
so worried about when out of the other side of our mouths, right? Out of the other side of our mouths, we want to feel strong. We want to feel at peace. We want to feel at a place where that we just feel good, right?
Mm.
But but on the other end of it, I'm not willing to take a leap of faith, dig
Yeah.
my heels in. These are all things that come out of our one side of our mouths. And if we don't actually decide that we are worth it,
Yeah.
we're going to remain in that space of scarcity. We're going to remain in that space of fear. And I refused to do that. I mean, I jumped in, sort of, with the exception of 1 month. I jumped in and I let it just happen. And
Exactly.
and you trust, because I'll tell you what, I trust you, and I trust without a shadow of a doubt, the investment is worth every penny because I am a different woman than I was 19 months ago, 20 months ago.
Hugely. Hugely. Yeah. Just to give a quick example, this just came in my mind. So, obviously, I run a training business, right? And when I first brought my business online, so I trained in person for 6 years, trained the military for 4.5 years, and then jumped online when COVID hit. I didn't know how to run a business. And so I had no money. I had just gotten out of the military. I had like no money and I had an infant, and my husband just cheated on me and left me. Right. So there was that whole situation. And I was like, okay, no job, no house, an infant, and no money. But now I'm going to go start an online business. So I literally refinanced my car to get $10,000 cash to pay this chick I met on Facebook to build my business. Now, 3 years later, I think I've invested like maybe 150,000 in coaching. I would do it again in a freaking second, because how many women have I been able to impact for health and fitness and wellness? But if I would have been afraid to invest that, I would be working a 9 to 5, guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's worth
And
it.
that's why I think you and I, this partnership has been so beautiful, because the platform for both of our business is very much the same. I would be working a 9 to 5 job that I hate. I would not be able to fit in the time to take care of myself, which now it's not, like just as today was shoulders day, and I jumped out of bed and I'm like, yeah. And then there's days where I have to do, Bulgarian split
I
squats.
was
And
just going to say that.
I, I could not imagine being able to do what I do. Even if I had a 9 to 5 job, I would still be in this space where I feel more incredible than I have in my entire life,
And
ever.
it really plays exactly into fitness too. It's like we can live in a body we're uncomfortable with and hate, and internally like have low mental energy, low physical energy, low mental clarity, because we're afraid to invest in ourselves. So we're just going to live in that misery because it's not that bad, right? But then it's like, oh my gosh, if you just invest a little bit, your whole life changes. And now it's like, oh, here I am. Here I am. Why have I been living so low lately when I can have this super great fitness and great body and great energy and great life? And I think another issue is people say, I had a trainer in the past and they never talked to me. I paid them and then it took them a week to get back to me. It took them 4 days to get back to me. I wasn't supported. They just gave me a program. And then I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do with that? Have you ever felt that?
You know, I think it goes back to
I
this
mean, with me.
With you at
I'm like, what do you mean? Wait.
I'm like, I've never hired a trainer. I only hired somebody to help me figure out how to do Ironman and train for that stuff. So, and I was trying to think back on those people. And with you, you are consistent and reliable, safe, and accepting of the things that I needed in order for me to be successful in this. And I think it takes a very special person to be able to pivot and trajectory change in order to be able to respect and meet the needs of the people who ask for your help.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And that is always my goal. It's like, what do you specifically need today? What do you specifically need today? Not like, okay, everybody, what's your challenge? It's like, no, bam, 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 just going through. Like, I am here to love each and every one of you for exactly as you are individually.
Right.
So, thank you for
this
sharing.
It's much more than just and through the years I've been able to figure out the whole macro thing. And let me just be real clear on that one too. I felt like a little child when I first started because I wanted to be given it all, right? I wanted just send me the menus. Can you just send me the menus, please? Because I don't want to have to work at it.
Mm-hmm. Like,
if you hadn't when I was a teacher, I mean, it's kind of like gradual release of responsibility, right? You kind of help. Here, let me model for you. Let me show it to you. Now, here you go. I had to figure that out on my own too. And with not necessarily failures, but just, that did not work. That was not working. And as much as I wanted to resist that at the beginning, the ability, what you've done to support, but not do it for everybody. And we've talked about this. This is a lifestyle change.
yeah.
You can't do all of it for me. I'm just using me as an example. You can't provide me all of it. And then all of a sudden have me just go off. I mean, I would fail if you didn't just say, hey, I'm going to help you here, but I'm not going to show you how to do this. I will give you, but you've got to try this on your own. And you didn't say it like that, but it was like,
yeah, I was going to say, I do show you how to do it, but I do make you do the work. Like pre-plan your macros. When you get stuck, send me screenshots of your food diary. We work through it together. So that way you're actually learning how to do it. And then you start getting super fast. And then it's like, yes, this is a piece of cake. But if we never did that learning and I started giving you meal plans, and I used to do that way back when in my business, and I stopped doing it because a year down the road, I'd reach back out and be like, hey, how's everything going? And, they weren't as fit as before. And I'm like, well, why not? And it's like, oh my gosh, I need to equip you to do the work yourself more. And the women who don't want that, it's like, then I'm not a good fit for you because I'm going to help you get banging results, but you best know how to maintain it for the rest of your life or I didn't do my job. So that part's so important.
And yeah, that was a big one. The food part was a big one. And there are a couple of things now that, like I said, are my absolute staples. And some of the suggestions that you gave early on, it was like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Like salted caramel protein shake in my coffee. And I know that started so long ago, but that's been something that I don't add. Yep. And in my brain 19 months ago, 20 months ago, I was like, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Things you didn't think about, but it's like, yo, I've been doing this for almost 15 years. I got the tips and tricks. Like, let's do it, and like, me and all of you ladies, it's like, we're living proof that you can be fit and have this gorgeous body that you love, have a great relationship with food, be able to go out to eat, still be human. We all still make mistakes, but they're far less. And we still maintain fitness because we've taught our bodies how to be resilient and how to process food and bring a lot of health to our metabolism. So it's like, I just get to live free and this is great. And I've learned the habits and I got to do the habits, but it's like, it's living in peace or with ease, right? Would you say that this feels easy now?
It absolutely feels easy now. And I think it's also not just the physical piece and the food piece. It's just a complete mindset shift. And you and I have had that conversation multiple times, that I think that's what I'm most grateful for, is that it's the depth to this work. There is depth. It's not breadth. It's okay. Here we're going to start with this workout. Let's talk about your macros. And then all of a sudden there's this shift. There's this massive shift where you're looking this way and going, my mind is clear. My soul feels good. My head feels good. I'm sleeping finally. And that, and then, and it's like we talked about, it's mind, body, and spirit is what you provide. And I think that's the addition to the mindset shift is probably one of the most impact, other than fitting in a size 2. Yeah, that's super great. And I even preface that too with, we've talked about size doesn't matter, but when you put those on and you realize that you've worked so hard, but that you're at peace, that's the moment where you're like, I wouldn't change this for the world, and I would invest in this a million times over for where I'm sitting today with my mind too. We as women, this beautiful thing takes over.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone can get a program and macros online, but the lifestyle coaching and the connection and the vulnerability and just having that woman by your side, you can't do that without a quality trainer. You can't do that with a low quality trainer. I think some people are like, oh, I just wanted to spend like $200 a month. It's like, that's totally fine, but that's what you're going to get. You get what you paid for. And so it's like, is that really what you want? Because there's always a way. There's an unexpected bill. Oh my gosh, you randomly find money and pay it. Like we all do. It's there. Where are your values and where is your priority?
And there are a million trainers out there. Let's just be real. There's a million trainers out there. It is rare to find somebody who's one in a million like you. It's a rarity. And I would tell anybody to jump at the chance without a shadow of a doubt. I came from depression, anxiety, thinking that I knew it all. Really great false mask, super great. Because, I'm a redhead and I own my own business. But it was all an illusion.
But you did, but it's not like you were doing it on purpose. You didn't realize. Yeah.
No, not at all. And I thought I, knew what was best for Carey.
But I like to break barriers.
And that stuff has all been worked on through this. And I've told Kristen this a million times over, that she is one of the beautiful angels that God, whatever your spirituality is, that just kind of popped into my life because something bigger than myself knew I needed her.
Yeah.
And I jumped at that chance. And I tell her all the time that how grateful I am for just who she is and the work that she puts in and the care that she has for every single client of hers.
Thank you. Yeah. I love you. I care so much about you. I'm so glad you're here. And so the last question, and I do want to say thank you so much for just sharing your story, because I think some women feel like, oh, I have to be perfect. What if I can't do the program? What if I fail? What if I can't follow the macros? What if I can't do that? And it's like, I've had ladies who are half compliant, sometimes less, and they still get great results and their life still changes, but maybe for whatever reason they couldn't be or didn't want to be fully compliant. And that's okay. Like there's still tremendous change that happens. Like nobody has to be perfect. So yeah, who would you say this program is best for? Like if you had to say this type of woman needs to do it, it is for her.
I really think that it's for somebody who's ready to jump into something that might be a little uncomfortable. That you might be at the place in your life where you're like, something's got to give, something's got to be different. And maybe I've been maybe I've been doing things this way for so long, but there might just be something better.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than a strong woman with a beautiful soul and a beautiful heart that comes from a place of integrity and grace and peace. You got to take a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to. We can live stationary. It's really easy to just live at this low vibrational stationary place of just being, oh, I'm good. Who wants to be? I'm good.
Yeah, right.
Not me. And it just takes one chance, one little moment to go, I'm worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can do this.
And this woman right here is going to support me along the way. She's going to call me out. Oh, you held me accountable. That's for sure. And that's not something I'm used to either.
But in a loving way, but in a
very loving way. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't loving. Absolutely not. But today I sit in this chair and I feel like a miracle. I feel like a miracle as a woman who would have never imagined she'd be sitting here feeling the way that she does in recovery from a multitude of in her brain, a lot. And I think as women, we need to wrap our arms around each other who's willing to take that chance to go, I know there's something better.
Yeah.
I know there's something better, and it's in its totality, because like we just talked about, your program is not here's your workout.
Yeah.
And every single month, and I will say this to you, and I'm every single month this new program comes out, and sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh, that workout's going to be easy. And I text you all the time, and I'm like, oh, I thought that, yeah. Every time, and that's what your body needs.
Yeah, needs. Yep. That's why in 2 years, you've never plateaued, nor have I had one single client for as long as I've ever trained ever freaking plateau.
No.
But it's because I get it. And I also constantly put in the work to stay up with the research. Like right now, I'm enrolled in 3 hormone certifications just in the beginning. I haven't gone through them, but it's like, I am truly dedicated to serve women in health and fitness really for the rest of my life. So I put that expectation on myself to always be improving, to always be learning, so I can constantly have the highest level of education, the highest level of knowledge, so you guys can constantly get results in a really healthy and sustainable way.
I'm pretty sure training and doing Ironman, which in most people's brain, you would think that you would look solid and tight. No, I definitely was not one compared to where I am now.
Right.
There is nothing that has changed my body in this way. I have never felt comfortable in a bikini, even being a smaller person, but because I've had 2 children, we shouldn't be wearing bikinis, right? Oh, this is just residual from having kids. It's okay. All of those things that I put into my brain that somehow rendered me to feel like I could only wear one pieces.
Mm-hmm.
That I definitely, my arms don't get fit because I'm trying to lose the weight in my stomach. So it's okay. All this weird brain stuff that goes on in our heads. For the first time in Mexico, when we went there for Thanksgiving, and I knew I could wear a bikini, number one, right? I knew that I could because I put in all the hard work. But here's the beautiful part of it is that it's the work on the brain, the mindset shift that comes with doing this, that I wore a bikini. And it was not like I worried about that person over there or that person over there or my sister sitting next to me or my beautiful 21-year-old daughter. It just didn't matter.
Yeah. I think partly it's just so much security and love and confidence in yourself. Yeah. Because
it took me a while to get there. I mean, but that was with help with you. I got you, Carey.
Mm-hmm. And and it's such a partnership, right? Like you were doing your part and I was doing my part, and together it's like, it's a total life change. In the slightest. Yeah, I'd like to say the least.
in the least, from a woman who wanted to do cardio for hours, a woman who was an alcoholic, a woman who was dealing with body dysmorphia, a woman who had every excuse in the world. Well, I'm this, and this, and I felt like I felt horrible.
Yeah.
And it was all here, and this, it's we can break those patterns in our brain. We can change and pivot. Because like I said, I'm a miracle in many ways, and you have been one of the angels that has been brought into my world to be able to go, life is good. Life's good. It's so weird, but I can say that with absolute fortitude and genuine and authenticity as a woman, that where I'm sitting today, life's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's peace in that.
Love that.
And you have walked through that with me from the start.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
So grateful to have you.
I am so grateful.
You're wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else? And ladies who are watching this, thank you for being here. And if you have questions or comments or want to share your story or want to talk about it, please reach out to me. Send me a DM, because I want to talk to you. I'm here to help you. I'm really here to serve you. And like, I believe that I was called by God to put on this earth to help women get fit in a healthy and sustainable way. I can't say that enough, because we weren't taught this, right? I was not taught to be fit. And, almost 13 years ago, when I found macros and weightlifting and found how to be fit, I'm not joking, I said to myself out loud, never again will I let a woman who wants to be fit not know how to do this. And ever since then, I've been training. I'm like, every woman should experience, every person, but obviously I work with women, like every woman should experience this life change, because otherwise we're a slave. We're a slave in our body. We're a slave to food, and it just sucks. And it's like, but there's a way out. There's a way out. And what may for some seem like the slow way, macro checking weightlifting, it's actually the accelerated way. Because I talked to a woman who's been suffering for 20 years. It's like, sweet girl, I could, you might have 60 pounds to lose, but oh my gosh, let's just train for a year. You just struggled for 20 years. Let's just train for a year. Your whole world will be completely different, and you will never be back here again. Just do it. Whatever that excuse, that crap that's holding you back, bye, Felicia. Get rid of it. Take the leap. It's scary. Whatever. It's worth it. It's so
that, and let me just add on that really quickly, is the fact that I know that I hope I'm trying to put this in the right words. I work out at home.
Yeah.
I work out at home. Mm-hmm. I work out with Bowflex dumbbells. I work out with bands for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. And this can be done at home. I am proof of that. Mm-hmm. Kristen just adapts, and I mean, all of those things that you want to put in front of you that says, nope, this is my reason to say no. This is another reason for me to say no. Here's another reason for me to say no. I'm
like, but
I know. Believe me, I know. I know in all part of this, I know that she will adapt to what you need, mind, body, and spirit. There's a part of, enough said about that one. I will get there one day. I tell you that, friend, I will get there. But I just, there's no better investment in being a woman of grace, class, integrity, strength, sound mind, and peace. And that is exactly what has happened for me working with you for the last 19, 20 months coming up. And I signed up for another 18. Are you kidding me? Without a shadow of a doubt. So
I love
that is even questioning it. Like you alluded to, there are a million trainers out there. You are one in a million.
Thank you so much.
1 in 5 million.
I love you. Thank you.
I adore you.
We need to make this Mexico trip happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me just get my son to Disney first, and then let's schedule our Mexico trip.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
Love it. Well, thank you again so much for being here. I really appreciate you because I think, women hearing other women's stories, it's so inspiring and empowering to say like, wow, okay, she was experiencing that and look at her now. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. And I know that person will actually love me and actually support me and actually care about me to get me to this other side. Very cool.
And the plan of attack doesn't need to be a sprint to start.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing too, is that this is lifestyle change. That doesn't happen overnight. It does not happen overnight. This is going, okay, this is the way it's been for so long, and I still don't feel good.
Now we have to rewire all of that. Like that takes time. Some people for 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the other things too, is that we want results instantaneously.
Well,
and we're a culture that wants that fast.
Yeah. And I'll say body wise, the results are there instantly.
Yes.
Like they'll keep going. But in terms of like falling off or making the mistakes or having everything perfect, it's like, just relax. Like, let's give that lots of time. That's going to take a lot of time. Your plan is set for you to have results. And if there's a week that's off and you didn't get the results you wanted, that's okay. Let's learn from it. You're also human. And those times are actually growth because you're having to practice grace and self-forgiveness. So it's like, even though it might not feel good and it feels resistancy, it's actually creating personal growth and mental growth through working through those situations with healthy habits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Wow.
Okay, Lily, I appreciate you. I'll go ahead and end this for now. Thank you again for everybody being here. So lovely. Carey, you're amazing. Thank you again for being here and taking the time to share. And I will talk to you very soon on Telegram.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. See you guys.
Bye.